I'm super late to the foray on this one. Super late reporting this. It's still a crucial matter that needs to be discussed nonetheless. I wanted to go over an article on Daily Mail that was posted at the beginning of the week on Monday, July 12th, 2021, regarding the situation that's currently going on in France. I'm just going to read the top briefly here. These highlights pretty much summarize the whole article, so keep it brief, and then I'll just give my thoughts afterwards. So it says President Macron says only the immune can go to French bars and restaurants, makes COVID jabs compulsory for care workers, and warns the country's fourth wave has already begun in dramatic national address. Now, when they are talking about the fourth wave, they have to be referring to the Gamma variant. President Macron introduced new coronavirus measures on Monday night. COVID-19 vaccinations will be mandatory for those working with the vulnerable. Now, the word vulnerable there is kind of funny because it's like, isn't everybody vulnerable? Isn't the world vulnerable? Have they found, humans that are resilient or immune to all strains of COVID-19? I doubt it. Grocery store cashier workers as well, unsung heroes, man. I want to say I appreciate you guys for the work that you do day in and day out. These people work with, people from all walks of life on a daily basis. They are definitely vulnerable and highly regarded, in my view, for what they do, because everybody has to eat, right? Anyway, care workers have until September 15th to get vaccinated. After then, checks will be made and sanctions applied, Macron said in a televised address on Monday. Vaccine passports will also be required from August 1st for anyone wanting to go out to eat or drink at a bar, cafe, or restaurant, or travel on planes. Passengers on long-distance bus or train rides will also require a pass. Just 3 days ago, France reopened its nightclubs as restrictions began to ease. It comes as the Delta variant has started driving infection rates up across Europe. Macron is set to announce a new law requiring healthcare workers to get vaccinated. So I just want to preface this by talking directly to those on the outside looking in, who may think it's not a big deal. Oh, just get another job if you don't want to get vaccinated. That is an absolutely delusional outlook to have. People who think the virus is a ruse or it's a joke or it's not real, cut it out, man. That's highly disrespectful and inconsiderate to people who are suffering with COVID now, who have suffered through it, or have lost loved ones from the virus. It's a sad state of affairs in France right now, and my thoughts and prayers go out to my brothers and sisters in France, straight up. Similarly, here in America, the United States, we had a issue in Houston, Texas, where at Houston Methodist Hospital, over 200 employees were either terminated or resigned due to a similar mandate for vaccinations amongst staff members. I mean, after failing to win at the local courts, they brought their case to the Supreme Court. And I'm definitely interested in seeing how that pans out. I currently work in healthcare. I've been employed in the field for 5 years, and I too worry about future requirements. I mean, as of now, my employer is not forcing employees to get vaccinated, and I hope it stays this way. I bet that French healthcare workers and non-healthcare workers both participated in those riots and backlash. I mean, ordering citizens to have a new and foreign technology injected into their systems is tantamount to dictating what they can eat. Now, some would argue, well, food has, no direct relation or commonality here, but the principle is the same. The correlation I'm trying to make is, what if Macron said, okay, all citizens can only eat pork from here on out? how would France look as a whole in a couple weeks from now? I can't understand why negative test results can't be viewed equally as somebody that is vaccinated, especially when the most effective vaccines that we have still present a chance to allow some level of viral transmission. If healthcare workers are wearing, PPE, personal protective equipment from head to toe, and they're following all the sanitation guidelines and health guidelines like they're supposed to when interacting with patients, I don't see why a vaccine is absolutely necessary. And that's just my opinion. But at the same time, the inventor of the technology behind these vaccines, Dr. Robert Malone, please go look him up if you'd like to see his take on this. He's in multiple interviews. He expresses himself, not word for word, but he expresses himself that this is a new technology. It's not fully understood, and long-term effects are still unknown. And this is out of the inventor's mouth, okay, that created this vaccine technology that we have. He's saying this himself. So I definitely applaud Dr. Malone on that. It probably wasn't easy to do, to come out and say this on multiple platforms, but I definitely applaud him for doing so. Completely honest and, upfront about it. I realize that, nations have different, regulations, and they handle matters differently. I can't expect them all to carry out things the same way. This isn't about anti-vaccination or pro-vaccination. It's your choice. It should be, right? The purpose of this video is to bring a bigger picture to the light, and that's the freedom of choice when it relates to individual health. It seems like choice is being eliminated. I don't advocate violence, but it's like, what other means do people have to express their concerns in this situation? Are they supposed to do peaceful protests, write heartwarming letters to their government? These people are faced with loss of their livelihoods. This isn't a mob that was formed out of greed or criminal intent, but rather because one man is deciding the fate of thousands and thousands of people. And what happens if the healthcare professionals disagree? We're gonna have, overworked staff, empty clinics, and empty hospitals, and that's a compounding problem that we definitely don't need right now. I imagine some of the people that willingly went to get vaccinated don't agree with, vaccines being mandated. I'm pretty sure there's a good number of people that went and got the vaccine on their own accord that feel like, hey, it's your body, it's your choice, it shouldn't be, mandated. I'm pretty sure they exist out there. Personally, me, I would rather be in a temporary lockdown than to be forced to vaccinate. Most people don't have a basic understanding of virology. And in combination with, the poor decision making by world officials, the pandemic has reached the point that it's at. But is mandating vaccination the best resolution? The situation in France is potentially setting a precedent for other countries to follow. And I'm not really sure how that's going to look in the United States. I'm really not. I wanted to just briefly touch on this. More people should be aware about it. I have opinions on other spectrums of the pandemic and how it's been handled thus far, but I'll save them for future videos. Time is very, very important. Thank you for sharing yours with me. I'm Strategy. This is a different era.